Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Sesternino back here, and this is fun. We are going to be talking a little bit about something new that we just launched back here with the architect of this project. Please welcome my great friend, winner of Big Brother Canada 10. It's Kevin Jacobs. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing really good, Rob. I'm excited. This is a scheme that we've been quietly plotting in the background for a little while, and I'm
Yeah.
fired up to get it off the ground.
Yeah, excited to chat about this. We've been talking about this for the last couple of months and trying to figure out when
Mhm.
was the right time to launch it. And turns out that time is today.
It's today. The best time to launch something is yesterday. The second best is today.
Yeah, the second best is today. So we're going to talk a little bit about that origin story of what we are cooking up. But Kevin, how are you doing? I know you just got back from your belated honeymoon.
Yeah, we just got back from Maui. We're supposed to go. We were supposed to go last year in August. We were supposed to go on August 10th. The fires broke out there on the 8th. Thankfully, we were not there at the time, but we were able to go visit and see the place. And I mean, Maui is amazing. Good to see them, recovering from what was a horrific fire. But I mean, it was an amazing trip. And 8 months later, we did it.
Okay. Well, happy it was a good trip, but excited to talk with you today about
Mhm.
what we've been working on. And so, a couple of months ago, from my perspective, Kevin Jacobs reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to pitch you on something." I said, "Look, not every day Kevin Jacobs reaches out and says, I want to talk about a project. Okay, let's do it." And we started talking. And Kevin, you for some time have been running the This Week in Bold strategy newsletter.
Yeah, I bought this domain this week in BS a little while ago, and I just wanted to use it for something. The term bold strategy came later. And for over a year, I've been running this newsletter. And part of it was that I've seen so many great newsletters out there. There's one that I follow for basketball. There are some business ones that I read regularly. And I have all these emails in my inbox. And some of them are great, some of them are not that useful, but there has been a gap for reality TV specifically. And so I've been filling that gap. I've kept it relatively quiet. The This Week in BS newsletter, haven't promoted it too much online, but the response has been interesting in that people really engage with it. The written word's a little bit different, and I'm excited about what we're planning to do here.
Yeah, and over the course of Rob the podcast, there's been some like talk about like, oh, okay, have you ever thought about doing a newsletter? But like that, as far as we got, it was the idea was, basically a little bit of a polished up version of, hey, did you miss what we did this week? Here's all the podcasts that we did. Here are some of the highlights in case you missed it. Here's that. And it never really seemed that exciting to me. But what I've loved about what you have done is that you are using a newsletter, like so many other people in this space, to write down your thoughts, and your newsletter is content.
It's content. I mean, Rob, TikTok is getting banned, maybe. Who knows what's happening on all these other platforms? Instagram is trying to be TikTok. TikTok is trying to be Instagram. Twitter is now X. And I actually think that it's a little bit irresponsible to not have a newsletter in 2024. And there's this debate: is email is very much alive. People read their emails. In fact, people read their emails more than they do a lot of these other things. Everyone has an email. And so it is content. It's just content in a different way. And it's something that we're in together. Let's say social media completely falls off the face of the earth, whatever happens, you still have your mailing
Mm-hmm.
list. That
Yeah.
still exists.
Yeah, and look, that your email can be a little bit of a struggle if you don't have good filtering to get through all of the junk that you get. But, the hellscape that is going on across most of social media, your email inbox is a great place to be able to get through of that. I mean, personally, yeah, you're not going to get any emails, at least I don't, that say my nudes in bio, like with all these tweets.
No, none of that. None of that in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Absolutely none of that in the newsletter. And so if you haven't figured out, we're doing a newsletter together.
Yeah, we're working on a newsletter together. And so we're trying to combine Kevin's expertise in this area and build on what Kevin has been doing these last couple of years. And then also combine it with what we've been able to do on RHAP and be able to bring not just Kevin and myself, but also bring other reality stars into the fold so that they too can talk about these shows in a way where, a lot of these reality stars, Kevin, are busy. Not everybody has time to sit down for an hour or 90 minutes and recording a podcast. But there are times, I think, when some of these really smart reality stars that have opinions may be able to just write something and share it with the audience in a way that is a lot more succinct and concise than a podcast.
Yeah, and the way you put that to me was, what about the Players Tribune for reality TV stars? Which I
Yeah.
thought was such a beautiful, succinct way to put it.
Yeah, and I don't know, for everybody in our audience who may not be, as big of a sports fan as you or I, but in the world of sports, that there's some guy started a website called the Players Tribune where athletes can be able to write unfiltered without having to go through the media about their experiences. And the thing that really clicked for me was that we, as reality TV people, Kevin, we're supposed to be able to have that experience like on our shows when we do our confessionals. And that's how we connect with the audience. And so that's where the idea for having this reality TV newsletter called The Confessional is born.
Beautiful name, The Confessional. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't know why this doesn't exist. Frankly, I don't know why this doesn't exist, and I'm excited to do it together. I think we're going to get an interesting mix of hearing from people in a different format than you would otherwise. We're going to talk about shows as they're going on, not in a recappy way. We're going to give a point of view on what's going on there, and it's going to be exciting to watch this grow and work on it together, and ultimately we share the goal of just creating good content.
Yeah. And we just launched it today. I have taken it upon myself to write the first piece for The Confessional. And I really have been spending a lot of time as somebody who, thinks a lot about Survivor, I was really trying to come up with who really defined The Confessional in the 24-year history of Survivor. And I really wrestled with the best way to try to talk about this. And what I ended up landing on was my Mount Rushmore of Survivor confessional givers. I ended up with a list. And Kevin, the Mount Rushmore is we have in the United States, we have a big mountain where they carved the 4 best presidents, according to somebody.
They carved presidents in the mountain.
Their faces into the mountain. I don't know if they did a poll or or if it was just the guy who did it, his top 4.
How'd they pick the top 4?
I honestly don't know, because I feel like that Teddy Roosevelt is kind of a little bit of a head scratcher. I don't know if they're like Jefferson, and maybe that's what people are gonna say about my list. But I went with the 4 people that I felt like were the most important Survivor confessional givers over the course of the history. And if you want to read that, you can go to realitytvnewsletters.com and subscribe to The Confessional.
Yeah, it's right up there. You just put in your email and then you can read it. You can share your thoughts. There's space to comment. You can reply to the emails when they come through.
Yes, if you're subscribed, you can leave your comments, because I'm sure that I will not necessarily have the same Mount Rushmore as everybody.
Well, I think one of the cool things about the written word online is you can engage with it and you can disagree, but in a more sort of nuanced way than maybe, replying to a tweet. This is nonsense. You can actually leave a comment. You can engage. You can reply to the email and we'll, read it. It's kind of cool that way, where having something written and thought out like that, yeah, you can agree or disagree, but it's a little bit, there's a little bit more sort of interactivity than other media, in my opinion.
And so our aim is to get a newsletter out once a week. I'm going to write stuff. Kevin is going to write stuff. And then we're reaching out to smart reality TV stars to talk about their shows and give their thoughts on what's happening, the state of the shows. upcoming reunion of anniversary type seasons of the shows that, if they so choose, potential casts that they may want to see for the potential anniversary shows. Who knows, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I think the topics are pretty open, and I'm excited to see people's thoughts. I'm excited to share my own. It's gonna
Yeah.
be fun.
And Kevin, it's only going to be the smart reality stars that you want to hear from. We're not going to any of the dummies.
None
That
of those
maybe,
dummies, Rob.
yeah, none of the dumb people. Even if they have a big following, we're not going to ask dumb people just because they have a big following.
This is the Mensa of reality TV.
No, it really is. This is for smart consumers of reality TV from smart people that were on reality TV.
Yeah, and it's something you can
The idiots
share.
aren't going to get it, Kevin.
It's not for the idiots.
It's too much. And not that they're going to be long. I mean, that we're shooting for around 1,000 words. Like, these are going to be very digestible, but it's not going to be a tweet.
Yeah, it's not going to be a tweet. It's not going to be James Joyce, but it's not going to be a tweet.
Yeah, it might be James Jones.
It might be James Jones. It could be James Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, we're really excited. You can subscribe. RealityTVNewsletters.com is the place to go for that. It's completely free. We're working on trying to get some really fun content out there over the next couple of weeks. Okay.
Yeah, share your feedback with us. We're excited. It's on during the off season, not just when these shows are on. It might kind of scratch that itch as well. If at the end of the Survivor season you're looking for something to tide you over for a little bit, we're around.
Yeah, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited to get to work with Kevin Jacobs. This is like the first thing that you and I have really gotten to collaborate on.
Rob, I was a presence on BB Can 11.
Sure, but I wasn't.
You were not. You were
Yeah.
not.
So
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This is the first time that you and I really get to work on something. So
yeah, and it's fun.
Very, very excited about that. Kevin, how you feeling? Big Brother Canada, was it 12 is in the rearview mirror?
Big Brother Canada 12 just finished. Super interesting season for me. Reason being, they had two returnees come back, two completely different play styles. You had Anthony Douglas, who had one of the most dominant games ever the first time he played, works in the shadows, knows how to get people to do things. Then you had Spicy V, who has this chaotic, fun energy. We left with an amazing winner. Her name's Bailey, who figured out how to navigate that very, very, very complex twist. And what I like about her and really appreciate is that she played the game as herself, which is very hard to do. This person came in entirely herself. She was almost entirely honest the whole game, and it was a very good game. In some ways, that's hard mode because you're not choosing to use the manipulation or lying skills. And for her, she said that didn't come naturally to me. This is who I was, and it was cool to watch her play through, as well as Anthony once again didn't. He was never dominated. He was an automatic nomination at the Final Four. That's it. No one's ever done this in 2 seasons in North American Big Brother, and he did some things this season that I don't know how he did them, but someone needs to figure it out and make a business out of it, because typically you get somebody to put up their number one once in a season that you stand on. You don't do it a few times in a season. That just doesn't happen.
What kind of business would Anthony go into?
Sales, negotiating.
Sales,
like
yeah.
it's I mean the man is a wizard. The man is actually a wizard. It was very fun to watch.
And Kevin, we're coming up on only about a week left in Survivor 46. What's been your take on Survivor 46? By the way, that we could probably use some consulting from Liz Wilcox with the new newsletter.
Yeah, exactly. The first year where there's someone who's an email marketer.
That was the sign.
It was telling to us. So one thing about Survivor 46 is it has its own character. I've heard this complaint about the new era that seasons blend together. This is its own thing. This is not going to
blend together.
And I appreciate that. And I got thinking, I kind of want a sort of positive ending. I'd like to see a little bit of heart in this season of battle where someone comes out on top. And then I thought that just wouldn't be appropriate. I
Hmm.
will be happy with Survivor 46 if that final tribal council is vicious, if all of the final three get eviscerated, and we have a winner who maybe they respect their game, but this cast doesn't seem to like each other. So I want the hate to continue. I
Yeah.
am here for it, and I don't want it to end with roses.
I don't want it to end. I'm not ready for this Survivor season to be over in 8 days.
It's exhausting though. There's a lot of strife. No one sticks together.
Yeah.
No one sticks together.
Okay. All right. Well, no matter what happens, the fallout, we've got another way to talk about it here with you. RealityTVNewsletters.com. Kevin, anything else you want to let people know?
That's all. It's exciting. We'll obviously be around for Big Brother 26 in a few months, in 3 short months, 2 short months. That's all. Just subscribe, have fun, let us know your thoughts, and engage. Like this is cool. It's a fun new. Like I'm having a good time right now.
Yeah. All
You
right.
know what,
Well, yeah.
Rob? Before we hop, what piqued your interest about all this? What was your like light bulb moment?
I have felt like that for some time, like I felt like that it was like negligence on my part to not have some kind of newsletter in addition to everything that we're doing with the podcast. I'm always trying to figure out like new ways to like adapt with the times. And so I'm not getting out of the podcasting game. I've expanded a lot more into doing more of the podcast on video and exploring what we can do on YouTube. But I also think that, I want to be conscious of people's time as well. And I feel like that there are a lot of people that don't always have time to engage with an hour and a half long podcast. And so I just thought that this was such a cool idea to be able to, one, give reality stars a space to be able to talk about things like, not to mention any specific names, but I know a lot of my reality TV star friends, some of them have kids. They don't have that kind of time on their hands to be able to, mess around on the podcast, but they may, be able to, like, after their kids go to bed, be able to write up their feelings instead of doing like a Twitter thread where Twitter is so toxic. This is a place where people can be able to share their thoughts. So it just seems like a really fun idea. And what I love about doing RHAP is that, in a lot of other spaces that there's like in the music industry, for instance, like, is there a place where like musicians can just like get together like with other like-minded musicians? And there's just not a lot of these spaces. And if you look across any of the other industries, and I know that like I take some criticism sometimes of like, oh, Rob is not as unfiltered as I would like him to be. But this is not owned by anybody else. There is no like parent corporation or anything like this. We can do whatever we want in this space. And so I love the idea of being able to get more people in. Not every single person that was on reality TV like needs to necessarily have their own podcast on RHAP. But whenever somebody has something that they want to talk about, I love the idea that we can give this vehicle to people to be able to, give their thoughts out to anybody who wants to read it.
That was beautiful.
Thank you,
And
Kevin.
I think the key point is that it is a different medium, which is kind of fun. That fills this, for people with kids or for people who have maybe a different thing to say or aren't going to hop on the podcast or something.
Yeah.
It's exciting. If you like it, you will actually have everyone has a unique referral link at a certain number of referrals. You get a shout out in the newsletter. At a certain number of referrals, you get a little essay. There's some cool stuff going on, but we'll leave that for the newsletter.
Yeah. And if you're a reality person and you're listening to this and you're interested in writing something, reach out to Kevin or myself. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, stay tuned for whatever is going to drop next, realitytvnewsletters.com. All right, Kevin, anything else?
We did it.
Okay. Thanks so much for checking this out and looking forward to getting going with the confessional. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.